Your performance was inadequate, soldier. Do not fail again.
The Velnari had a saying, "The void does not kill. It simply reminds you that you were never meant to exist." Every species in the Galactic Accord believed it. Scientists from 14 civilizations had run the numbers. The vacuum between the Kashan Drift and the Outer Rim, a region they called the Hollow, wasn't just empty space. It was something worse. Radiation storms that shifted without warning. Zero communication signal. Gravitational anomalies that shredded hulls like paper. The Velnari had lost 3 warships there. The Drethkai lost an entire exploration fleet in what they now call the Year of Silence. No one survived the Hollow. That was the rule. That was the law of the universe, written in the bones of every dead crew that had drifted into that darkness and never come back. And then came Sergeant Marcus Hale of the United Earth Defense Corps, and he broke the rule on day 1. Act 1, the crash. It started with a standard escort mission. Marcus was the sole human crew member aboard the Velnari diplomatic vessel, Serenatha's Grace, assigned as a security liaison after Earth's recent admission into the Accord. The Velnari didn't ask for him. They were given him. There's a difference. Commander Velanese made that clear within the first hour. "Your kind has been in space for less than 2 centuries, she said, looking at Marcus the way someone looks at a dog sitting in a chair. The Velnari have sailed the stars for 4,000 years. You are here as a courtesy." Marcus smiled, said nothing, and went back to eating his protein bar. 3 days into the journey, a Drethkai ambush pushed the Serenatha's Grace off course, deep into the Hollow. The ship took critical damage. Commander Velanese ordered evacuation pods deployed for her crew. 14 Velnari made it out before the secondary reactor blew. Marcus didn't make it to a pod in time. The explosion sent him spinning into the dark, suit intact, oxygen reserves at 40%, emergency beacon destroyed, and the wreckage of the Serenatha's Grace scattered across 200 kilometers of dead space around him. Commander Velanese filed her report from the evacuation pod. Under casualties, she listed one name: Sergeant Marcus Hale. Human. Presumed dead. Act 2. The survival. He wasn't dead. What Marcus had, what no Velnari survival training accounted for, wasn't equipment or technology. It was something older. Something that had been forged in ice ages, in deserts, in trenches, in the darkest valleys of a planet that never made survival easy. Stubbornness, creativity, and an almost embarrassing refusal to accept that he was supposed to die. Day 1. Marcus located the largest chunk of ship wreckage and anchored himself to it using a torn cable and a broken stabilizer arm. Makeshift gravity, enough to keep him from drifting further. Day 3. He found the auxiliary power cell from the cargo hold, cracked but not dead. He spent 6 hours in his suit, in total silence, rewiring it by feel to extend his suit's heating system. The Hollow dropped to temperatures that would freeze Velnari blood solid. Marcus kept his blood moving. Day 7, he started rationing. Not just oxygen, everything. He'd seen photos of the Donner Party in history class. He thought about them a lot. He was not going to become a history lesson. Day 12, a radiation storm hit. He buried himself inside 3 layers of hull, plating, and waited 41 hours for it to pass. Sleeping in 4-hour cycles. Keeping his heart rate low. Breathing like he was back in SEER training. Survival, evasion, resistance, escape. Except this time there was nothing to evade and nowhere to escape to. He talked to himself. He sang badly. He recited every movie he'd ever memorized, start to finish. Aliens. The Martian. Fitting choices. He did not give up. By day 20, he had fashioned a makeshift signal array from the wreckage. Not powerful enough to broadcast, but powerful enough to reflect. A mirror in the dark, pulsing on a frequency that any ship passing within 30,000 kilometers might catch. By day 30, he'd eaten his emergency rations, 2 protein supplement packs, and something in the cargo hold that might have been Velnari nutrient paste. It tasted like burnt rubber and sadness. He ate it anyway. Act 3. The rescue. It was a Velnari patrol ship that found him. Ethan's Watch. A border scout vessel, 2 weeks into a mapping run. Lieutenant Commander Silari almost dismissed the signal. Faint. Irregular. Probably debris. Her sensor officer, a young Velnari named Taith, pulled it up on screen and went very still. Commander, they're the life sign. The ship came out of drift and into the hollow. No small act of courage. And found Marcus Hale floating in the dark, wrapped in hull plating, waving at them with a torn piece of Velnari diplomatic insignia he'd been using as a blanket. He had been in the hollow for 40 days. When they brought him aboard, the medical team stood in stunned silence. His vitals were low. He was dehydrated. He had lost weight. But he was alive, in a place where the greatest navigators in the known galaxy had gone to die. Lieutenant Commander Silari looked at him for a long moment. How, she asked. Marcus thought about it. About the cold. About the darkness. About every moment he had wanted to stop and hadn't. About a species that had climbed out of caves and oceans and wars and pandemics, and still looked up at the stars and decided to go there. He shrugged. We don't really know how to stop, he said. Outro. Commander Velanese received the message 6 days later. One line. From the Ethon's Watch Medical Log. Human survivor recovered. Condition, stable. She stared at it for a very long time. Then she crossed out the name on her report. Under casualties, she wrote, none. Thanks for watching. If this story hit different, drop a like and subscribe. New HFY stories every week. And if you want to see what happens when humanity sends those 9 people the Drethkai took, that video's already up.